Hey everybody, it's me, Comic Crack. Brief one today. I've talked before about my underground comic collection has grown to such a size that I have quite a few doubles of issues now. And one of the things I tried to do was trade some of them instead of selling them. Contacted a couple people that I know that I've dealt with in the past to see if they wanted to trade. The first trade was a huge success. The books showed up today with Mark from Quebec, who I've bought stuff off of a number of times. I scanned all the issues. I've been working on this project. I've been kind of scanning all my underground comics just for my own personal kind of files or whatever. But I figured I'd share them onto the Imager site as well too, which I've talked about before and given the link. And one of the reasons why I decided to do that was just to kind of have the scans of especially the doubles available where I can just send the link to anybody so they get a good quality look at an image that's going to show them all the defects or pros to the books that I have for trade. It worked out really well with Mark. I sent his books. He received his last yesterday, I think he said. And lo and behold, mine arrived this afternoon. Really happy with them. I've started reading them, read a couple of them. This first one here, Roger Brand cover, and it's just a book that at this point I've got a bunch of books kind of highlighted in my mind as ones that I wanted to get. This one was rated, I think, pretty high on the Underground Comics site there that I'm always talking about, Comix Joint. So he had a pretty decent copy of it. And I figured, what the hell? Let's give it a shot. Yeah, I mean, the usual raunchy goodness in all of these books. So that's a look at that one. Real pulp. I managed to get my hands on the second and only other issue of Girl Fight Comics from Trina Robbins. And I read this one this afternoon, and I absolutely loved it. As I've said millions of times before, Trina's really becoming one of my favorites of the underground scene. Her stuff is always really female-focused. She refers to herself as a feminist in a little bit of a kind of amusing back page story here. Kind of an interview with the artist, a visit with the artist. But this is her style. Her line work is just incredible. I really love just flipping through the pages. The stories are pretty good. You know, it's not mind-blowing storytelling by any stretch, but it's just really nice, especially with the undergrounds, to have stories from women. A lot of the male stuff can read as pretty misogynistic to some degree, and I know that guys like Crumb didn't always have the best outlook on women in general. So it's nice to see that there's some women that really flourished, Trina being one of them. But her line work is just beautiful stuff. Really clean and, I don't know, just not simple, but I guess that's the best word for it. Just very, very clean. Very stylish. I love her lettering as well too. Is really nice work. So yeah, I mean they're great stories. If you don't know Trina, I'd highly recommend both of these Girl Fight issues if you can find them. And the one that I was most excited about, by a guy named Charles Dallas. It's Psychotic Adventures Illustrated, and I was just reading about him on Comix Joint. Kind of an interesting story. Nobody really knows where he came from. Jack Jackson discovered him, and then he kind of had some stories in some anthologies, was given his own series, which ended up running 3 issues. I've got all 3 issues now. Previously, I have issue number 3, and I got 1 and 2 from Mark this time as part of this trade deal. So nobody knows where he came from. He had these 3 issues. Really kind of, as he says on Comix Joint, really in the kind of EC horror tradition. Really great. Like, this issue was really, really great. The Comix Joint guy wasn't as crazy about the first couple of stories, but loved the kind of third one, which takes up half of the book. But I actually really liked the first story as well as the third. Here's a look at the interiors. I posted on Twitter today. If you want to pause the video, you can read that. But a little Meet Your Artist talking about how he's just a disfigured beast. Really, really funny. His style is really great as well. So he did these books. He did some time in Underground Comics, and then as he appeared, he just completely disappeared. Nobody knows where he went. Him and his wife moved away from San Francisco, and he was just never seen or heard from again. Which is too bad because it's a hell of a book. His style has a little bit of Rory Hayes to some of the faces, especially this face. Almost looks a little like the Boogeyman character. Pretty heavy blacks in this stuff. This first story is pretty incredible. This group of humans who are just kind of reading the history of their planet, and how it's kind of controlled by insects who keep humans down underground in these little kind of I don't know what they call them, in these like little pods, I think. They feed them, and in the pods are just kind of leftovers from previous generations of humans, and they just give them a place to live, and they feed them, and they have a male and a female living together. And eventually the insects want to destroy the planet and have it start fresh, and this is a hell of a picture right here. So that happens. One of the main guys, Z, the planet reconstitutes itself into a lush green, beautiful surface again. They kind of come out of the ground to the insects who want to eat them, basically, and the insects just kind of have this routine where they eat the elderly, they have the young humans mate, and then keep them in these pods, and the cycle just keeps going. I thought it was a great story. Really, really fantastic. So they're reading this guy Z, his kind of final thoughts on everything, hoping for an answer, and of course at the end there's no answer. The only answer is to kill humanity, and then the insects will die because they'll have nothing to feed on. And then the cycle kind of continues at the end of the story. Really great stuff. The second one apparently was written by Dallas's wife, a guy who he's dreaming and goes and kills a woman, and it looks like he's not dreaming. Nothing too exceptional in that one. And then the third one here is The Underground Artist, which is really is a great story. Just about these guys who want to kind of get away from the world, and they end up going to an island where they make some discoveries of these cave paintings. And I won't go too much further into it. Really well written. A lot of the times with some of these undergrounds, one of the things that the writing is pretty basic. I mean, it gets the story across, especially for the horror stuff. Let me preface that with the horror stuff especially. It's well written enough, but there's something different about his style of writing that I really appreciated. And pairing that with the art is just an incredible thing. There's a look at issue number 2. And I think this is just one story throughout the whole issue. Not as dark as previous, but still some really nice work. Yeah, there you go. That's that. Charles Dallas. Fantastic find. Really glad I got these. So there you have it. There's the books from Mark as part of our trade. Thank you very much for watching, everybody, and we'll talk to you later.